Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Michael Maney begins now.
Good evening everyone. In the wake of the scathing Murray report into harness racing, there's outraged trainer Ben Yole has been allowed to race. The government refusing to enforce a suspension, instead trusting an independent inquiry will run its course.
A passion for racing soured by corrupt competitors. Tasmania's trotting club deeply disturbed by findings of animal abuse and race fixing in an independent report.
Much more horrendous than I thought that the report would come up with.
The state government also shocked by the findings 2 months ago when it first received Ray Murray's recommendations, beleaguered trainer Ben Yole continuing to race during that period.
Ben Yole has had more than 660 horses that have raced, and there has with winnings of over $415,000. That's just in the last 2 months.
The industry is the one suffering, and we as a club aren't going to condone it, and we'll do whatever we need to do to be part of the solution.
Racing Minister Felix Ellis and Tas Racing's 9th director in 2 years, Robin Thompson, now under pressure to suspend Yole from the track while an independent panel examines his management.
Mr Murray, in his investigations, was limited in the scope that he couldn't himself suspend Mr Yole. That was a limitation of the terms of reference.
If this director of racing won't stand Ben Yole racing down and the other people named in this report, then he needs to go.
The minister refusing to buckle.
If we don't follow a proper process, it could undermine everything in terms of enforceable sanctions if that's the approach that the stewards and the director of racing recommend.
Yole was again contacted for comment, but there'll be no escaping the controversy if he chooses to compete in Launceston tomorrow night.
Last night at Geelong we saw Victorian stewards provide late scratchings on 2 Ben Yole runners.
Whether Tas Racing follows suit, still yet to be announced. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
There's a major health alert tonight for residents in part of the state's north. Environmental tests detecting heavy metals including lead in the Rochalee area, believed to have blown from a local recycling plant. An investigation is now underway with criminal prosecution likely.
Scrap metal is brought by the truckload to this facility at Rochalee for recycling, but it's what's leaving, caught by the breeze, that's worrying officials.
Elevated levels of lead associated with dust within the close proximity of the Launceston metal recycling facility at Rochalee.
Fire tore through the Recycal site in 2022, but the EPA claims the business had not been operating within its environmental permit for years before that. Tests conducted since August sparking alarm and now action.
Stop using the metal shredder that is generating a significant amount of the dust. The notice also requires them to cover the stockpiles of waste.
For now, there's no immediate health risk, but further testing is underway.
How far pollution has spread in the neighbourhood and how concentrated the pollution is at various distances from the site.
The concentrations of heavy metals detected in tests reduces the further away you are from the plant, but there are concerns for a number of homes and businesses within a 1 kilometre radius, including a bakery. Those at risk will be contacted with free blood tests being offered.
For people who may be concerned about the Brooks High School, which is in the neighbourhood, no evidence of lead or other metals at concentrations of any concern in the soil from 30 different sites around the school.
Nearby properties should clean any dust.
It's best to clean surfaces with a wet mop or a rag because if you use a broom or a brush you're likely to blow the dust up into the air.
We contacted Recycal for comment. Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
At least 2 young people linked to Monday night's drowning at Hobart's waterfront have been granted bail. The 25-year-old woman and 19-year-old man fronted a Hobart magistrate today, charged with aggravated robbery. A 17-year-old female facing the same charge also appeared in court, as did a 17-year-old Goodwood boy charged with manslaughter after Dipinderjeet Singh was pushed into the water. More than $28,000 has been raised to repatriate the 27-year-old's body to his family in India. Police tonight thanking this woman who found and handed in a mobile phone. hoping to speak with her again in the belief she can assist with the ongoing investigation. A police operation targeting repeat offenders is getting results. Task Force Viper detectives are recovering $100,000 worth of stolen goods in Tasmania's north in just 6 weeks, as well as firearms and drugs, charging 44 people following targeted raids.
If you are out there committing crime, we will find you, we will catch you, and we're going to get the property that you've stolen back.
The task force will continue its work indefinitely. New figures reveal that Tasmania is bearing the brunt of a chronic shortage of doctors. The data unveiled as state and federal governments pilot a program aimed at retaining doctors in Tasmania.
Encouraging more young doctors to stay in the Apple Isle. Tasmania's Health Minister Guy Barnett in Perth today with Federal Labor Senator Helen Polly to discuss their co-investment program aimed at retaining doctors. Dr Malcolm Braddock moved to Launceston to undertake work as a first-year general practice trainee under the pilot program.
I think having these incentives will help people and encourage people into GP.
In recent years, junior doctors have become reluctant to go down the pathway of becoming a GP, but that's set to change. 12 new trainee doctors starting across the state. The Minister hopeful it will solve a headache for the state, which has been diagnosed with a chronic shortage of GPs.
This model is a proactive, innovative, new solution for dealing with our GP crisis, particularly in rural and regional Australia and rural and regional Tasmania.
New data revealing Tasmania has fewer GPs of any state in the country per 100,000 residents. Guy Barnett blaming it on underinvestment by the federal government. Senator Polly says the Albanese government has made a significant investment in health, putting aside $6 billion in last year's budget.
The state Liberal government were in government when Morrison government was in power. Nothing was done. We've done nothing but invest in health since we've come into government. You cannot fix everything that's broken in 18 months.
All the squabbles spoiling Medicare's 40th birthday, which just goes to show you can't have your cake and eat it too. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
Meantime, the state opposition has called on the Rockcliffe government to increase the paramedic workforce to ensure crews are adequately resourced to attend call-outs. It comes after Georgetown resident Andrew Haig had to wait for a second ambulance for his mother-in-law after the first one arrived with just one paramedic over the holiday period.
I'm highlighting this because there's a total lack of management of resources, and it could mean the difference between life and death.
This government has to start taking responsibility for their actions and their decisions. Ramping is out of control. Ambulance response times are declining. All of these on this government's watch.
Labor MP Michelle O'Byrne says the government has had 10 years to address paramedic workforce shortages. The Tasmanian Fire Service is urging residents to be ready as our state enters peak fire season. With strong south-southwesterly winds and high fire danger ratings over coming days, there are 35 fire aircraft ready to tackle any dangerous blaze.
Although these winds will be cool, they'll still be dry, and there's still great potential for fires to start and grow quickly.
The aerial capability that we have gives our firefighting crews significant additional capacity to knock down fires.
While 30% more Tasmanians have adopted a bushfire plan compared to last year, crews are still urging people to continue to follow fire permit rules. A record number of twins and triplets are set to walk through the school gate this year across Hobart. While it means 2 uniforms, 2 lunch boxes and 2 times the school fees, parents say it's a crucial chance for the siblings to discover their own identity.
It's expected to be one of the largest cohorts in a while, and they all have one thing in common.
We've got about somewhere between 10 and 14 sets of twins and triplets starting school in Hobart alone. We don't know that that's happened in a very, very long time, so 2019 must have been the year for multiples.
The pairs are some of the 4,500 set to head to school for the very first time this year. Today, the similar siblings gathered at Legacy Park in Hobart to share their excitement.
Are you looking forward to making some friends?
While the transition does come with some challenges, financial costs, multiple uniforms and nerves among them.
The anxiety as well, you know, you worry about, particularly like in my case with identical twins, about whether they're going to be seen as individual people or whether they'll be seen as a pair.
For mother of three, Claire, she's decided to send Penny and James to different schools.
They have very, very different personalities, so I have decided to honour that and give them their own identity at different places, and to be honest, they're happier when they have time apart.
And while the first day can be painful for all, the Multiple Births Association is particularly calling on parents who need support and advice from other families in a similar boat.
Just having someone who understands such a unique, you know, parenting journey. It's not like any others.
But for the time being, here's to having fun in pairs. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmanian News.
In developing news, Tasmania Fire Services are responding to a bushfire in the Central Highlands at Osterley. While the township is currently not under immediate threat, authorities are advising residents to be vigilant. Grounds crews, supported by 6 aircraft, are actively working to bring the bushfire in Wellwood Road under control. Motorists are instructed to avoid the road and surrounding areas. Launceston City Park is already coming alive, with the finishing touches being put on Festivali. 28,000 people are expected over the 3 days, enjoying live entertainment and sampling local produce from dozens of stallholders.
Starting in 1988 as a bicentennial project, it's grown year after year, and now we just want to continue to really showcase the great Tasmanian food, the produce, the beers, the spirits, the wines and the ciders that we've got.
Of course, it's more than just economic activity. It brings families and friends together in Launceston's beautiful city park.
Tickets for Saturday are sold out, with just a few hundred remaining for Friday and Sunday. Organisers of FOMO are promising a range of DJs and late-night art performances when the Granada Tavern in Berrydale is transformed for 2 days as part of the Mona Foma program. Today, a dance party and sausage sizzle symbolised the opening of the event, which is expected to see tourists and locals pack out Mona.
A day of music at Mona sessions and then roll on down to a spicy kick-on. And on Sunday, when we have our deep-fried day party, it'll work in reverse.
All the festivities kick off on February 23 and 24.
Honours have also gone to Tigers and Hurricanes captain Elise Villani, named Women's Domestic Player of the Year, appearing too in the International Cricket Council's Team of the Year.
So I just feel incredibly lucky to still be able to play the game that I love. As I mentioned, I've been involved at this level for 16 years. I've had amazing support both on and off the field from a number of organisations, family, friends, teammates.
It's Villani's 3rd time taking out the prestigious gong. Jordan Silk has recovered from the heartbreak of losing the Big Bash final as the Tigers fly north to take on the Bulls in the Sheffield Shield. They've got a precarious grip on the top of the ladder, Silk attributing their success to the squad's breadth of talent, led by the bowling of Bo Webster.
I think what we've seen throughout the first 6 games was a real collective effort. We saw guys stand up when needed. We've seen Brad Hope and Jared Freeman, Lawrence Neil-Smith help win us games of cricket.
Meanwhile, in the WNCL, the Tigers have suffered their first defeat of the season. Hayley Silver-Holmes taking 3 wickets against WA and leading Tassie's batting on 43 not out, but they couldn't quite get there, losing by 36 runs. Reigning burning international champion Rinki Hijikata has bowed out of this year's tournament. The top seed beaten today in the round of 16 by world number 293 Omar Jaskia. He'll go on to play 5th seed Dane Sweeney in the quarterfinals. Conflicts in the Middle East are affecting one of our sailors, with a boat carrying a yacht for Tasmanian Will Sargent forced to turn back to Europe. It was on the way to Dubai, where Sargent was to sail it at the SB20 Worlds. Sargent expressing his disappointment about the situation on social media, but all is not lost. He'll sail with some local teams at the event instead.
Good evening. Hobart 27, Launceston and Devonport 25, Burnie 22. Our top today recorded at Friendly Beaches with 28-25 for St Helens and Maria Island. Grove and Bushy Park 23-21 for the Islands and Low Head. Strawn 18, Lyowini 17, Luncheon Hill 16 degrees. Mostly cloudy conditions were seen towards the west, grading to mostly clear skies further in the east. An onshore flow is driving cloud about parts of Tasmania. Cloud is also seen over Queensland, which contains embedded thunderstorms. Tomorrow, a ridge of high pressure will pass through Bass Strait, with a weak front passing to the south later in the day. Northwest to southwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots, increasing up to 30 knots about the south from the early afternoon. Huge west to southwesterly swells increasing up to an impressive 8 metres. Please stay safe about coastal waters. A severe weather warning continues for many parts of the state. A gale warning has been issued between Wineglass Bay to Sandy Cape to include Storm Bay, the Channel and the Central Plateau Lakes. There is also a strong wind warning between Sandy Cape to Wineglass Bay to include the Derwent Estuary, Frederick Henry and Norfolk Bay and the Southwest Lakes. Tomorrow, windy and cloudy towards the south, Hobart and Huonville 18, 19 in Campania. Launceston partly cloudy 23, windy in Devonport, windy also for Georgetown 22 with sunny skies which are likely. Windy and partly cloudy for both Burnie and Devonport, a shower or two for Strawn 17. Fine and sunny in St Helens 24, grey skies and windy conditions expected for Swansea and Port Arthur. Saturday, mostly fine with showers developing in the southwest in the evening. Sunday, showers about the west and south, mostly fine elsewhere. Monday, showers clearing from the northwest during the morning and elsewhere in the afternoon. Looking further north tomorrow, 37 and sunny in Perth, fine conditions also for Brisbane 33, cloud clearing in Adelaide 29, 21 and partly cloudy in Melbourne. And right now in Hobart, it's windy with 16, partly cloudy in Launceston with 21, Devonport windy also with 20. Michael, excitement is certainly building as Festivali kicks off day one tomorrow at City Park in Launceston.
Well, that is all your news for now. I'll be back with updates a little later on. Thanks for joining us. Good night.